Hello, Otafest podcast listeners. I'm Angelo, and I'm here with Nancy and Jay.
It's me!
On another blessed episode.
I'm Batman.
1 week remains until Otafest. But thank you to all who visited our booth at Calgary Expo 2024. Your smiling faces and wonderful cosplays were a treat to behold just 2 weeks before our own event. Thank you for saying hi.
The Downtown Calgary Association is proud to sponsor Otafest and its amazing volunteers for the second year. This is your downtown to live, work, learn, shop, and play. We look forward to seeing you for a jam-packed weekend celebrating all things quirky, kind, and community.
I've been in tech support hell.
Oh, God.
Something awful happened. Something awful happened last weekend. Dio and I, we were sitting down for a nice session of watching some wonderful anime
Lovely.
on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
When suddenly the media server was no longer responding. We couldn't tell what had happened.
What?
We had no idea. All that we knew was that there had been a power outage that week.
Oh.
And so as best we could figure, after their power outage, it just never turned back on.
Oh, I was like, did it fry the whole thing?
How many days did it take for you to realize?
About half a day.
Oh.
So that's not the problem.
Oh.
The problem is when I went to use my number one troubleshooting tool, pushing the power button, it didn't work.
Oh, pushing the power button didn't work. That surprises me.
Is your
So I went on to my
media-
number two.
Is it surge
I went on to my
protected?
No, hell no. Wait, no, yes it does. It does have a surge protector, just a little small one.
Little
small
guy.
one.
Little small dude.
So, using my number two troubleshooting method, turn off the power supply, press the power button like 20 times.
What?
Make sure that all the capacitors in the motherboard are drained, right?
Wow. Okay.
Turn the power supply back on and press the power button. Nothing happens.
Wow, that's
Dang.
not good. This sounds suspiciously like my modem troubles from a month ago.
Yes. So, there is one thing about this media server that is exceptionally janky. We have a network card in there. We have a 4-port network card that doesn't have the PCI bracket, right? So, like, there's the slot, the bracket that holds it into the slot, and that screws into your PC case. It doesn't have that for several reasons.
Several
Now-
reasons?
Now, what can happen when that's not there? If the network card gets like jostled around in the PCIe slot, that can cause weird shenanigans, right? So I
Okay.
figured this is probably what happened. So we remove the network card. It still doesn't turn on. We get a couple LEDs, but nothing useful. No video, no real signs of life.
Interesting.
Now, Dio and I, we're kind of angry. We're kind of miffed. It's been half an hour, and we're not watching Dungeon Meshi yet. You don't understand. Dungeon Meshi is important. Every
your fix.
weekend, we need our fix of Dungeon Meshi.
Look, it's a good show.
It's super fucking good. Oh, I love it. Nancy, did you see this week's episode?
When did it release?
Thursday, I believe.
Okay, then no.
Things happened with Fallon.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Not,
you
not
haven't
there.
watched yet.
Yes.
You haven't watched that? It's a great episode.
I'm
It's a
sure it
great
is. They're all
episode this
great.
week. Yeah. Anyway, at this point, I'm taking the server home. We've just set it aside. We are not using the server last weekend. I take it home. And so as I'm trying to work on it, I'm thinking maybe the signs of life didn't happen because the HDMI was bad. So I plug it in through VGA, right? I plug it in through VGA.
Okay.
Old technology, bulletproof.
Yeah.
No signs of life.
Ooh.
The network card is out. I am starting to plug everything else out. I unplug all of the hard drives. This thing had many hard drives. I take out literally all of the RAM. The only things left over in this PC are the motherboard, the CPU, the cooler, and the power supply itself. And suddenly, it works. So this thing has been unplugged, replugged, moved houses,
And disassembled.
disassembled, and it magically starts working again. And I'm like, okay,
The
well,
hell.
I'll put the RAM sticks in one at a time to see if that changes anything. All the RAM's fine. I plug
Good.
the drives in. The drives boot, it boots up.
Nice.
And so I'm at this point, I'm just like, I'd pull out my hair if I weren't completely bald. If I had any hair to pull out, I'd be pulling out my hair, trying to figure out what the hell went on.
You pulled out your eyebrows.
You have beard hair.
Like, I should also say, the first night, we even did a BIOS reset.
Wow.
We took the battery out. We took the jumper out. We did the jumper thing, we did the battery thing. A BIOS reset didn't help. But removing the RAM and putting it back in, removing the hard drives, putting them back in, magically fixed everything? I don't understand.
Like something somehow
Don't understand.
unseated, even though that can't happen unless we had like a phantom localized earthquake that only happened in the exact vicinity of where your media server was.
In this
Exactly.
hemisphere at this time of the year?
Exactly.
Now, after I got it working, there were a couple things that I had to do. This network card, this janky-ass network card that probably caused all these problems, but I don't know at this point. I fixed everything, and I still don't know what was wrong. I went digging through the trash at work, looking
one
for a
does.
little PCI bracket, because I work at a data center. I found a PCI bracket that might work for the card that we had. Lo and behold, it did. So now the card is securely in there. It's snug. It's not going to jostle around in its slot. It's not going to cause sparks or weird ones and zeros. That's all happy. We boot it up. Everything is working. We can watch our anime. Dungeon Meshi this week. Oh, Dungeon Meshi this week. It was a good episode.
It was
Lots
I can't
happened.
wait.
Was it worth all the effort?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was so good.
The show is worth it.
But there was one problem. So the network card that we put in, it wasn't working. And it's always been a weird little thing, weird little finicky bits. Because internet comes into that server through its motherboard network port. And then from the network card, the extra network card, it goes out to like a Raspberry Pi and a bunch of other stuff, right? They weren't working. They weren't doing the do. And so I spent an extra hour and a half literally working on this until 15 minutes before we started recording this podcast,
Wow.
trying to solve that issue.
Oof.
And I have no idea what actual course of actions fixed it. But just clicking around in the true NAS software, eventually I made a network bridge. I did it the exact same way. I did it 5 times earlier today, and it finally worked. I don't understand what I'm doing. I'm just a tech wizard who just casts
Reset.
mend butt crack on the ones and zeros of the PCs, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it threatens them into behaving.
That image, mend butt crack. Thanks for sharing that.
Never need to think
That
about it.
image. Oh my god.
That is the most dangerous spell that wizards know.
Apparently.
Jesus.
You think summoning a meteor would be bad? Just wait until you have to poop, but there's no crack.
I'm good.
That sounds awful.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's it, folks. Good night.
So that's been my week. I was in tech support hell, and I think I'm finally free.
Congratulations for breaking free.
It's a dangerous hell to be in. But at least we can watch our dungeon meshy.
Indeed. Dungeon Meshy. I am very excited to go catch up on that episode now.
Oh yeah. It is. It's intense. I'm not going to spoil anything.
No, don't tell me anything.
I got spoiled.
me
I got
anything.
spoiled because the fan art community of Dungeon Meshi was so rabid after this episode that me waiting like the 3 days to watch it, I saw fan art and I was like, I don't know the context for this fan art, but I know what's happening in this episode. Holy cow.
I am so glad I uninstalled Twitter. That basically was my one sole source of things that ruined things for me. I think Star Rail was ruined for me. There was one character that turned out to not be the character, and like I saw so much cosplay of that moment.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I will stay off Twitter. That's easy.
Yeah. I would
Right?
say
I'm
so.
hopelessly addicted.
No.
I'm hopelessly addicted to birdapp.
You are in the
You're
grip
allowed.
of the elongated muskrat. He has you.
He's ruined it. But I keep going back there anyway.
I know we've talked about this, but I'm honestly shocked that the migration efforts to find a different home for people didn't work out.
Well,
It's been... Well, there's... Go ahead, Jay.
It feels like this is a, like first of all, it was highly integrated. It wasn't like a startup that went unicorn and then like got super popular. It'd been around for I probably want to say at least it's probably close to 15 years. Twitter, right?
Do you remember with Twitter how the earliest versions of it, before like smartphones were everywhere, you could create a tweet by texting to Twitter?
Oh my god, I
No,
forgot about that.
I never knew that. I was
I
late.
That's why the
completely
character
forgot.
limit was what it was. That's why the character limit was 144, because that was the limit for SMS.
Smees.
Yeah.
I
Sneeze
completely
is
forgot.
fucked.
Thank you for reminding me about the depths of the plumbing of the internet.
Exactly.
Great.
Like, it's crazy that you could text from a dumb phone and post to Twitter. That's one of the reasons why it got so big when it did. Because anyone could use it. It didn't matter if you had a smartphone or if you had a computer at all.
But the
You
other
could
thing,
use
the other thing
you
I
could
notice,
use a Nokia phone.
the other thing I notice is that like all other usurpers to the throne, none of them really have any integration to the general social sharing. Like whether
No, they don't.
like I don't see what was it like? I don't see any links for sharing a news article via Mastodon or Blue Sky or whatever.
And that's
what
just
have
the
you.
thing, like,
there's no other integration.
The first and fastest Twitter killer was Threads, right? Except you needed an Instagram account, and it converted your Instagram account to a Threads account, and people logged on to Threads, and everyone they followed from Instagram. Well, that's great, but there's no timeline based on chronological order. It is just whatever the algorithm wants to show you. That's what you see.
And that's
so
exactly
you might
how-
not see posts from people that you actually follow, that you actually want to care about and see.
And that's exactly
So
how
was abandoned.
that's how Twitter works now anyways. Like most recent
At least Twitter gives you the option. Most recent is still there.
It does, but it's like it's a hidden sort of feature now. It's no longer the default.
So there's the For You page, and then there's their following page. Your following is in chronological order, and it's only the people you follow and ads. It is
which is not the same
It still
feature as
sucks.
it started as, which was the original feature was that you could get all of your information, whether it was people you followed or if it was through, like, you know, again, like a For You type thing recommendation, but it was also in chronological order.
Yeah.
And you can't have both at the same time now for some reason, where they do recommendations, but it's still based on a chronological, order of events. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Now, Blue Sky, from a user standpoint, does almost everything right.
Oh.
When using the website, everything that it does, I'm not very salty about. It does what I expect. It is very basic in a good way. What killed Blue Sky, the biggest problem with Blue Sky, is when all the hype for switching away from Twitter was happening. Blue Sky was invite only.
Yes.
And they were very stingy with the invites.
Yes.
So I got a invite kind of early, of, and that was still 3 weeks too late for like the big wave of Twitter exodus.
When people wanted to go is not when people were invited, which is like if you told someone that, even if you've never taken a marketing class or ever worked in advertising, saying that sentence out loud just sounds like it's incredibly poorly managed. Like
so I got my Blue Sky account and I was scrambling to find anybody that I follow on Twitter on Blue Sky. I was trying it. I was in there. I was really big. I wanted to be one of the Blue Sky early adopters.
Yep.
And what I like to post on Twitter, like I like to do animation. I like to do pixel art. I like to make funny GIFs and MP4s and whatever.
The funnies.
Right? There is no way on Blue Sky to post an animation.
Oh.
There is no way.
That's
you
really
can't
weird.
upload a GIF. You can't upload a video. You can link to it on another site, but there's no thumbnail or anything that goes onto Blue Sky. So for someone like me who's like, well, I want to use Blue Sky. I finally have Blue Sky. I have a small handful of my friends on Blue Sky. I can't post my content to Blue Sky.
Not to mention
So
the other side
the
of
hell
it is also like we talk about user migration as in people going there, but also you have larger brands or influencers, what have you, they didn't make it over there in a timely manner either. So you now, even if you as the user get in early, but you're not actually finding the content that you normally want and look for being there, it was kind of just a complete disaster in that respect. Like you're not being able
what
to
surprises
follow
me,
Mm-hmm.
we learned that invite-only systems for social media doesn't work anymore. That worked in like 2003. That worked in 2005. That doesn't work in 2020, 2021, 2022, whatever.
Yeah, remember when Facebook was invite only?
No,
You really?
because I never
It used
got
to
the
be-
invite.
So it used to be invite only.
I started using Facebook once it was common already.
No,
once it was
I
open.
think I do. I think I did get.
I
an
know it
invite
was a
that
thing,
way
but I don't
Facebook.
remember it
before.
because I didn't know Facebook existed at the time.
Yes. So Facebook in its very early days, it was invite only because it was originally intended as a post-secondary education
Yeah.
tool. So only if you were a student in post-secondary were you allowed to, like sign up for this, and then you could keep up with people who were in your classes as your cohorts and stuff.
If I remember
Hooray.
right,
And then they opened
you
it up
needed a
to everyone.
.edu account, even a .edu email
I think
account.
so, yeah. I think
Yeah.
so. But like, what else? I'm trying to remember. Like Gmail.
Google Plus.
Gmail
Google
in the very
Plus
beginning
tried
was.
to do invite only,
Oh.
and
I
that
didn't
killed
remember
it.
that. I don't remember that. I remember Gmail being invite only way back in the
Gmail was
day.
invite only.
Way, way, way back when it was first
But again-
launched on like an April 1st as a joke, and then people were like, "Oh no, wait, this isn't a joke."
But again, this is one of those like that was a strategy for whatever reason that could work back 15, 20 years ago. It is the 2024. It is I guess if you want to talk
Like
Mastodon.
it was 2013, 2014, right? Where
Yeah.
Google Plus was launched.
Yeah.
And it was invite only.
Ooh,
But
I
if
gotta
you
look that
if
up.
you talk
I
like
remember when I tried to use Google Plus, I only had a handful of people from like a cosplay board that I got the invite through.
Mhm.
And that's like, okay, but nobody else that I care about is on here. So whatever, funny memes with the cosplay group, whatever. And then everybody stopped using it. And then Google Plus, they tried 100 different things to try to bring back the hype for Google Plus, but no.
I see Hacker News
Consistently.
threads talking about this from like 2011.
Yeah. When social media groups, when social media websites try to make their content invite only, you have hype for a couple days.
About,
And
yes.
then once everybody is logged in, tried using it, none of their friends are there, they just go back to what already exists. And that's why birdapp is still kind of dominant for its niche, right?
Because people are still there.
I mean, for Blue Sky, they didn't open it up for non-invites for like half a year or something. I don't even know.
Jeez.
Like, I never even got invites to give to people, even though I tried. Like,
I did.
whatever.
I was early enough that I had invites but I only had like 3 or something like that.
Really?
But-
Yeah, and like, you can talk to 3 of your friends on Blue Sky.
Exactly.
Or all of your friends everywhere else.
Yeah.
I admit that I'm split between Instagram and Blue Sky right now, and I go to Twitter only if I get pings. Or at least I try.
Valid.
I still look for work on Twitter, obviously. But I actually rely on Discord to tell me now instead of Twitter. So I'm very rapidly losing a foothold in Twitter, and I'm okay with that because it used to be a source of stress for me when it was just constantly telling me I had notifications I needed to check and clear.
Ah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I uninstalled it off my phone, but I do still check it, occasionally. I still have notifications turned on for if I have a DM I need to go check or whatever like that, or if someone pinged me. But other than that, I try not to use it.
You know
But
what?
anyway.
This birdapp getting us heated. This
Yeah.
birdapp needs to relax. This birdapp needs to go have some food. We need to give it some like seeds or something. What do birds eat? Seeds.
So many seeds.
From like a store or a library.
Actually, can I have a quick sidebar on this? I know
Okay.
Angelo's doing such good work transitioning us to the next topic, segueing. But something that I'm a bird nerd. I really like birds.
All right.
Don't go like I don't want to own birds. I don't know. It seems like a shame to own a bird somehow. They should be free. But something that we don't have a lot of in Calgary are ravens. We live in the territory for ravens, but we mostly have crows.
Yep.
Ravens
Yeah.
tend to also be more solitary animals, and they tend to live kind of closer to the foothills and things like that. They're not as heavily suited for urban living like a seagull might be, or a crow or a magpie, things like that. But we do have ravens, and I've seen ravens downtown recently, and I've been
Oh.
thinking of
Befriending them?
You shouldn't feed wild animals. I don't want to feed them necessarily, but I'm like, I want to befriend the raven that I see. That's like, there's one downtown in Chinatown for sure. I know that territory for that one. And then I saw one, I don't know if it's the same one, couldn't identify it yet, but there's another one that's like, I've seen that's on my block. So I'm like,
Oh.
I need to, I don't know, find something super shiny to start offering it. And I need to find.
No. You get McDonald's French fries.
No.
Oh, no.
I'm not feeding the birds, Angela. It's not good behavior.
Okay, here's where I'm going to be a little bit irresponsible and egg you on. So, if the birds are already living in the city, they are almost certainly already living off human-made trash. They are already forming dependence on human activity. So, because of that, giving a bird good food that isn't garbage is not that unethical, especially if you don't always give it to them in the same place.
But then you also said give them McDonald's French fries, which is not good food.
Yeah, but you want to befriend it. Like, you can give them almonds or peanuts or something, and I'm pretty sure they'll dig that.
True.
But McDonald's French fries, there is a famous green tech story about crows and French fries.
Yes, I'm aware of that one. Is that the one that also ends in the train?
I don't remember if there's a train. All I remember is that the guy
It was
created
the guy,
a war
amongst.
between the crows he was mean against versus the crows he gave McDonald's French fries to.
Yes, I remember that. There's a different one. I think it involved pigeons, where they kept on feeding pigeons, so more pigeons showed up, and then like as they had like bird seed, they threw a bunch of bird seed into like a train as the doors were closing, and all these pigeons just swarmed inside the train.
That's hilarious.
No.
Oh my god.
That is
That
villainy.
sounds awful.
That's villainy.
Oh, that's so creative. That is such creative assholery.
Yeah.
It's
The
not
actual-
something I would want me to be known for doing.
No.
But if I had enough vendettas against somebody, maybe.
Yeah.
Nancy, the pigeon wizard.
Only once. It's only going to happen once.
I cast Seed Storm.
That would be a cool character. That'd be a fun character to play in a tabletop, I think.
The pigeon whisperer.
Yeah. The actual thing that we were talking about is that during one of my recent walks about town with my partner, we were down in Inglewood, and there's actually a little I feel bad. I can't actually remember the name of the bookstore. It's one of like one of the used
Pages?
bookstores.
No, wait, no, Inglewood.
I don't know. It's by
But
the
there was a
Oolong Tea
seed
House.
library
There-
outside of it?
No, so a seed library is actually inside, downstairs, where they have a tiny little projector movie watching area, as well as used books to purchase, and then they have a seed library, and the seed library is really cool. You just
That's neat.
you register at calgaryseedlibrary.ca. I'm willing to read it out because I got this little bookmark to
Neat.
remember all the little steps that you got to do. It's just 4 steps, and you basically you take the you register so they know that you're kind of with them, and then you take the seeds that you want. It's just a little cabinet. There's probably about, if I had to guess, about 50 different seed varieties of just random things. Honestly, there's some food ones. There are pumpkins. There are things like, I think I saw coriander. I think I saw wild bergamot.
Oh, yeah.
Like just lots of wild, interesting little things. For recent listeners of the podcast, I think we've been on a plant bent recently. So this is the curious, this is a good curiosity for all of us. But yeah, basically you do your best. You take some seeds, you do your best to raise them up, grow them out. And then once they're all grown, that your only responsibility is to try and give back by harvesting your own seeds and at least setting some aside and returning them back to the seed library.
That's
I
a
was
good
actually
idea.
going to ask about that. Like, what is the library part? Do you have to return seeds? And
That's it.
yes, actually, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'd never heard of a seed library before. That's so interesting.
it's
It
really
seems
cool.
to play off the same philosophy as like one of those like little mini libraries that are all over the inner city
Yes.
communities, where you take a book and
little
you leave a
libraries.
book.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would
That-
recommend. I didn't make a withdrawal at the time because I was like, this is new, all new things to me. So I didn't want to rush into it. Also, it's already the end of April, which means not
We're
a lot
behind.
of, yeah, if you're starting a plant right now, it's not that it couldn't seed. It's just probably behind.
You'll have a very short season with it.
Exactly. Or you might not get anything till next year.
Yeah, that's valid. The entire concept almost reminds me of like the Svalbard seed vault.
Oh, I know
Except
that.
the seed vault, you do not withdraw from the seed vault
No.
unless very bad things happen.
Yes. It's very Fallout.
Yes.
It's
It's very Fallout.
yeah.
They call it a vault for a reason.
Yeah. If you don't know anything about it, it's basically a repository
It is.
of all so many different types of plant seeds, from grains to wildflowers to what would you say, like fruiting plants and
My
grasses.
understanding was that it's basically seeds of everything.
Yes.
The whole point is that if something actually like apocalyptic happens, the entire point of the seed vault, which is in Svalbard, Norway, it's like a northern Arctic island or something. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing is that if apocalyptic scenarios happen, the seed vault is there with seeds buried hundreds of feet underground in frozen tundra to survive nuclear apocalypse.
Yeah. It could be but I mean that's like the actual crazy scenario for it. It could be such as things as, for example, we know that for the most part we only grow one type of banana commercially.
So if bananas go extinct, there's a couple of banana seeds in Svalbard.
Exactly, and of different genuses, and they would try to germinate those with different genetic backgrounds, wider genetic variety, to try and revitalize that lineage of what a commercial
A thing
available
of
banana.
plant.
Yeah, so I think it's cool, good stuff.
It's a very interesting project, and I'm all here for it.
I would
If
love
I
to
remember
work.
right, that island has a very peculiar law. If I remember right, that island, it is illegal to die there.
What?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, that's also something I know about, because if you were to die
I know
there,
about this.
the microbes in your body would be introduced to that biome where there should not be, like it should not be there.
Well, not only that, because it's all permafrost,
Mm-hmm.
you can't be buried.
Also true, you don't. Well, it's also, I think, something along to do with you don't decompose very well there either.
You don't decompose. You'll attract bears or something. I don't know.
I know a lot of
What?
weird things, Nancy.
Why
Like,
do
just
you
really
know
weird
about
things.
this?
I mean, why not?
I read it on Reddit once.
I
Why-
mean, I'm more curious about what journey brought you to know about this, because we've talked at length in the past about what Jay does in Wikipedia sometimes.
I was
and
just
that
about
makes
to say
total
that's
sense.
exactly how I probably found out about it.
That makes total sense, but man, I'm curious about the exact journey that took you to this piece of information, because it sounds so weird and wild.
I mean,
Yes.
that I will never remember. I told so it was interesting.
Listen, it's fine that we can remember that there's an island with a seed vault where it's illegal to die,
Yeah.
but remembering how we got at that information, impossible.
Here's like I have another sort of story about that. So I was at work probably about 4 months ago at this point. And I was just sitting, chatting with a coworker. It was kind of slow. Nothing happening that night. And she was on Wikipedia, and she didn't know the flags of like Canada very well. And I have some interest in flags just because I like flags. They're a great form of like graphic design. It's an offshoot of that interest, essentially. It's called vexillology, essentially. Anyways, she showed me like Alberta, and she's like, yeah, like, I know the Alberta's flag. And then we got to talking about, and I have mentioned I am a bird nerd. She asked me what the provincial bird of Alberta is, and immediately I was like great horned owl, because I know that. I don't know why I know that. It's been a long time since I've acquired that information. But the point is relating, how this relates is that I do not know why or how my brain stores this information and recalls it. At the same time, if you ask me what I had for lunch 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, maybe even 3 days ago, I probably couldn't tell you.
I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of information I cannot recall that you think would be more pertinent. There is absolutely, that was the first and only time anyone's ever asked me about what the provincial bird is, and I knew how to answer that in 2 seconds. I could recall that, even though I learned that information probably 20 years ago when I was still weebab, and it doesn't make any sense. What's the point? Why do I ever need that information? But I
can imagine tiny baby Jay right now reading a book
scrolling
and being like,
through Wikipedia.
Oh my god, the Alberta bird is an owl. This is just like Harry Potter. Back when Harry Potter was still something you could enjoy.
I don't make those kinds of connections. That's not how my brain operates. No.
Yeah, that's not how my brain works
all
either.
about the connections.
Yeah.
Huh.
My brain is 100% like every bit of knowledge has context in other bits of knowledge.
Interesting.
Like the fact that there was an island where it's legal to die is because I know that, because that's the same island where the seed vault is.
And I still wonder where you found out about the seed vault bit, but I feel like every time I go to the local seed store of varying locations, I keep going, oh, and this would be nice, and oh, that would be nice, and oh, that would be really cool too, and this will survive in our weird droughty conditions that we're gonna have this year. And then I have like an armload of little, the seed envelopes that you buy them in.
Yes.
And Sean just looks at me and says, if we don't have a plan, you probably shouldn't buy those right now. Because we're just going to buy a whole bunch of seeds and we're not going to know what to do with them or where to put them. Or you're just going to randomly put them down somewhere. And then we're just going to have a lawn full of stuff.
You get a box, you put a dirt in the box, and then you put the seeds in the dirt in the box.
True.
And then you put the box with the dirt and the seeds in the sunlight,
and water.
Then whatever pops up, you might eat.
I was going to ask,
but
do you grow ornamentals at all, or do you mostly grow like fruiting plants?
So I'm on a quest of sorts to find the right perennial plants, so things that come back every year, to put into the yard so that A, the bees are happy, B, they look nice, and C, they're drought tolerant, so I don't need to keep trying to water them with water that we shouldn't be spending on plants.
I'm disappointed in you for not using point B for the point about bees.
Same. The pun was there.
It was A. It kept the bees happy, and it wasn't B to keep the bees happy.
No, that's because keeping the bees happy was a primary concern, and therefore it deserved slot A.
Man, speaking of drought resistance, though, strawberries absolutely not drought resistant.
Oh no,
My
you have to
strawberry
water
plants
them
at
constantly.
Like if I go more then 36 hours without watering them, they fall over limp. They're like, Angelo, I'm thirsty. Please, I'm a thirsty little strawberry plant. Why won't you give... And I'll be like, I watered you 5 minutes ago. What
Well,
the hell,
not 5
dude?
minutes if it was 36 hours ago.
On a similar note, so first of all, if you're looking for local fruiting bushes, then look no further than the raspberry, because they are drought resistant and they will.
Oh, are they?
They will.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're actually very. So
They're very hardy.
I am very hardy. I have 3 that I planted one year because I had a neighbor who gave me 3. She
Yeah.
gave me three very long stems and just said, here, plop this in the ground. You don't need to do anything special for them. And I
Sure.
didn't believe her.
You
at
don't
the
even have to
time.
water them.
So I didn't believe her at the time. But what I did was I plopped them in the ground on a day that was 33 degrees. It was really hot. One of them died, the one in the middle. So the 2 on either side, well, they're fine. And they're freaking everywhere now.
Yes.
They have like 16 stems each. They're spreading. I'm constantly having to like nip them in the bud if I see one growing up somewhere else along the garage. And I'm like, okay, well, this is fine, because if I discourage further growth, it means that they spend more time on like the fruiting portion. But I just cleaned them up as part of my yard cleanup a few weekends ago, and I absolutely destroyed my quads and my glutes. And they were already starting to bud. Like
Nice.
the snow hadn't come and gone yet, but they were starting to bud already, and I just saw them this morning, and there's little leaves everywhere. They all survive the winter without any like overwintering. I don't have to do anything with them. They just survive and proliferate. And it can be annoying. Like if you wanted something that was like nicely contained in a bush, like no, you're not going to get that. Not with raspberries. But they
So
fruit
raspberries
a lot.
are the mint of the berry world.
Are mints like a weed?
Yes.
No, I would say, well, in our climate, in the Alberta climate, raspberries are kind of, but I would say the real one, at least in the Pacific Northwest, blackberries. You ever been to Vancouver or Seattle or Portland, anything like that? Blackberries, wild blackberries, just grow wild, like absolutely. They
Really?
cover entire fence. They're kind of like a creeping
Viney?
vine kind of thing.
Ah,
So you can
okay.
go if you can go along a like, let's say you're along a CP rail line where they'll have fencing. Maybe
Oh,
just
no.
a little bit out in the country or even in the city. You can find them in Vancouver in the city.
And they're just,
Just
covered
covered.
in
Just
really?
covered in blackberry.
Wow,
The only
that would
reason
be
people don't-
amazing.
The only reason people don't say like don't take them from there is because like I don't know, people might use the washroom publicly around such
Yeah.
areas, like you know
Ah,
what that
valid,
kind of thing.
valid.
But like the actual ability for them to grow untamed is like it's limitless potential.
Valid.
I had to double check because when I was in high school, the house that we lived in had a mulberry tree in it,
Ooh.
or in front of it, I should say.
I don't even know what a mulberry
And that's the
is.
thing; it was a tree. I had to double check because I was like, "Are mulberries and blackberries the same?"
No.
Because they look the same. Mulberries are much larger.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting. I
And,
love raspberries,
It
though.
was pretty nice. It was very
Last-
nice having a mulberry tree attached to your house.
I bet. My haphazard couple of raspberry stems last year before they really got established, they were like, I probably got a solid, like, you know when you go to the farmer's market and they give you those little square trays with raspberries? I got at least one of those worth of raspberries throughout the summer. What
Nice.
I'm aiming for this year is to get one of those in a single picking. Because
Oh
like
yeah.
Ooh.
you'd get like, you know, 3. You'll keep an eye out and you'd be like, oh, like 3 of them look nice and red, and maybe I can try and pull them off without breaking them.
As
And if
a-
they come off easily, that means they're done, they're ripe.
Yep. As a kid,
But like I'd only get a few.
I could in the summers I could fill at least a couple of those, like, you know, those Halloween-sized buckets for kids, you know?
Yeah.
Like head-sized little buckets. You can fill a couple of those pretty easy with just 2 bushes.
Hot dang.
And you can do that.
Yeah,
and
like
you can do that probably every week and a half, I would say.
I will warn you.
Jesus, time to make wine.
Yeah, I will warn you.
Raspberry
Raspberries are thorny little bitches. They are
Oh,
so
right.
sharp.
I forgot about
I'll be
that.
honest, if you ever want any assistance and pay me in the form of raspberries, I will come pick them for you. I'm happy in the thorns. I don't give a crap. I'm very good at it because I picked them for years as a kid.
Jay's secret power is being impervious to thorns. Take
The
that,
thorns
rose
will
bushes.
pierce your hands.
Yeah.
Your hands will be bleeding, and you'll just be like, no, it's raspberry juice, as you just keep eating
Yum, yum,
raspberries
yum.
right off the bush.
Amazing. Speaking of
times.
eating, we are overdue for a food date.
Yes.
True.
Yes. Now, we do have the leftover bet. The leftover bet of cow and beef noodles, which we decided, because Nancy didn't pick either of Jay or my anime, that nobody's paying for anybody. We're just paying for ourselves.
So
Like
what was it going to
responsible
be
adults.
if I had picked one? Was it still
Oh,
going to
so
be
if-
noodles?
The loser was going to pay for the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It wasn't a food genre relevant bet. It was just about who pays for who.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I see. I thought it
And
would be
now
interesting.
we just have to pay for ourselves. Like
I thought it would have
regular
been
people.
interesting if it was like, all right, if I pick the J anime pick, we get to go for KBBQ with a lot of adult bacon. But if we pick Angelo's pick, then we go for fancy pizza.
You're way
the
more
good
creative.
Italian stuff.
You're far
Oh,
more
that would have
creative.
been way better.
Yeah.
Like that
there's
was
no
what I had in
punishment in
mind.
that. There's no punishment in that, which actually makes it a lot nicer to do.
That's not
Oh,
true.
yeah.
It could have been like, we're going for Taco Bell.
Ugh. We're going to try
Hey,
the
I
new
enjoy
McDonald's
Taco
opening
Bell.
up in the neighborhood. Like, ugh.
Why would you go to
I
Taco Bell when
enjoy
there's
Taco
taco
Bell.
time?
Okay,
Are
you
we
know
really
what?
getting
Actually,
into this right now?
we've
Very
got like
quickly.
2 minutes left in the podcast. I have gone to Taco Time exactly once, and while it scratched the itch that Taco Bell desire had deep within me, it is simply not Taco Bell. It's very close.
And I would say the
It
other way
is
around, where I did
Almost
not.
analogous.
I didn't grow up with Taco Bell. I grew up with Taco Time, and Taco Bell is
Taco
the
Bell
faker
feels like
to
the
me.
pale imitation to you?
yeah.
Wow.
I will add on to that and say that
Wow.
I grew up and thought they were the same thing because I never went for any tacos as a kid for fast food.
Wow.
That's even
Like,
worse.
I genuinely thought, I was just like, oh, it's just the taco place.
Here are the two. Okay, I'm gonna be very specific.
Until I was about 14.
There are things that Taco Bell does do better, but I think generally speaking, their tacos are not as good. The thing that I actually like to get from Taco Time is superior to Taco Bell's, in my opinion, which is the beef burrito, and then things like the what is it? What is it?
The cinnamon twists?
No. It's the thing that is like a quesadilla.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
think
like the
that-
crunch wrap?
Yeah, I think that stuff is better, but they don't even really offer that at Taco Time. Taco Time, the one thing that Taco Time does really good as well is I think they have the better side. I like their tater tot thingy.
All right, that's valid.
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
remember the tater tots in university. That's about it. That's
I
my
remember that it's time to end this episode.
yeah.
as of 2 minutes
Unfortunately,
ago, you predicted that, and now it's come true.
yeah. Angelo
done.
can
And
tell the
just
future.
as this comes true, next week for Otafest, we probably won't have a episode, will we?
We have one more episode.
One more before Otafest.
Yeah, we have one more before that we're not going to have time to record during Otafest. We don't have a live show, just as a quick reminder. But we will record 1 or 2 episodes after as a quick review of our convention experience, plus you know, what to expect for the summer ahead after
Yeah.
we're done.
Yay!
Hooray! I'm excited.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.